Welcome to the Oasis. My name is Mike, and today I'm going to be giving you my review of the brand new headset from HTC, the Vive XR Elite. I bought this headset myself for an eye-watering 1,300 British pounds, just so I could share my thoughts with you all on the channel. So the key questions are, how does this headset compare to the Quest 2 and the Quest Pro? Is it an improvement over the last few headsets from HTC? Is it a good PCVR gaming headset? And if you're a consumer that has the budget for a new VR headset, should you consider buying one? I'll be answering all those questions and much more in this video, but first, let's crack open the box and see what's inside. So first up, you get the Vive XR Elite headset itself. It comes in this nice little pouch, and when you hold it in your hands, you really start to realize how far VR headsets have come in recent years. This thing is seriously small and compact, and in this configuration with the glasses style arms attached, it weighs just 273 grams. Also in the box you get the standard warranty information, a material top strap, a 1.2 meter USB-C to USB-C charging cable for the headset, two 1.2 meter USB-A to USB-C charging cables for the controllers. You get a battery pack which can be fitted to the back of the headset to add power and comfort, and finally two controllers which are the same controllers that shipped with the HTC Vive Focus 3. Just like the recent trend with mobile phones, a wall charger isn't included in the box. Getting back to the headset, I have to say I do like the design of the XR Elite. It kind of has this oversized Willy Wonka style glasses look to it, which has been borrowed from its older brother, the HTC Vive Flow. The headset features 5 cameras, 4 for inside-out tracking and 1 in the center for full color pass-through. A depth sensor is also present for better mixed reality content, something the Quest Pro had removed prior to its production. Inside the headset we have brand new pancake lenses. These are completely clear, unlike Fresnel lenses, and have a decent sized sweet spot, but unfortunately these lenses do suffer from pronounced glare and God rays in contrasting scenes. This is particularly evident with white text on black backgrounds. Both the Quest 2 and Quest Pro deal with glare much better in all of my testing. Behind these lenses sits 2 LCD panels with a resolution of 1920 by 1920 pixels per eye, which run up to 90 Hz. This is very close to the resolution of the Quest 2 and the Quest Pro, and it's actually a step down from the resolution of the older HTC Vive Focus 3. That had a resolution of 2448 by 2448 pixels per eye. Sadly, in the headset that I have here, the left eye's LCD panel has an array of dead pixels, making it look like a starry night sky in dark scenes, which certainly isn't a good sign of HTC's quality control processes. But moving on, this display combo provides a 110-degree field of view, and in my testing, it measured as being practically the same as the Quest 2 and the Quest Pro. On board, the Vive XR Elite is the industry-standard Qualcomm Snapdragon XR2 processor, paired with 12GB of memory and 128GB of internal storage. When it comes to the comfort of the Vive XR Elite, I'll say this straight away, and that is that it's one of the most uncomfortable VR headsets I've ever used. It can be worn in 2 ways. Firstly, with the glasses style arms attached, which is how it comes out of the box. In this configuration, the glasses arms really put pressure on your head behind your ears, and despite only weighing 273 grams, it's still too heavy at the front to comfortably sit in place if you're moving your head around. With the XR Elite set up like this, you'll need to use an external battery pack to provide power to the headset. I used this little Anker power pack, which worked just fine. Initially, I thought this setup would be perfect for use at home if the family are using the main TV, or if you were on a long-haul flight so you could rest the back of your head and enjoy a movie with your very own private virtual screen. But the problem is, the headset lacks a 3.5mm audio jack to use a wired pair of headphones, and the Bluetooth latency is far too high to be able to use Bluetooth headphones. This means the only audio option you have is to use the built-in speakers, which of course would result in the people around you being able to hear what you're watching. You might be able to use a USB-C to 3.5mm audio jack adapter, as there is a hidden USB-C port by the side of the lenses for accessories, but sadly I couldn't find one that would fit in this little slot. This is such a strange design choice from HTC that makes using the XR Elite in this glasses configuration completely impractical. Unfortunately, things don't get much better with the rear battery pack installed, which makes the total combined weight just 625 grams, which, to be fair, is 100 grams lighter than the Quest Pro. The problem is, there's no way to independently tilt the headset at the front to find the optimal fit when wearing it, meaning instead, you have to tilt the whole device up the back of your head. I had a similar issue with the Quest Pro with its rigid head strap design. The material top head strap that's included in the box with the XR Elite is an absolute must-use item. This makes the balance of the headset much better and much more comfortable to wear. But the worst part of this headset by far is this facial interface. It's beyond terrible. It doesn't evenly distribute the weight across your face, meaning all the pressure is put on the front of your forehead, resulting in big red marks after just a few minutes worth of use. This facial interface also doesn't make a good seal around your face, resulting in big gaps that let in loads of light at the sides and at the bottom, which is completely immersion breaking when playing your favourite VR games. To be fair, the Quest 2's default facial interface wasn't great either, but in this case, I can't see this headset selling well enough to justify a company like VR Cover coming in and offering a better replacement. When it comes to IPD, the XR Elite accommodates an IPD range between 54 and 73mm. Glasses wearers might be interested to hear that this headset features adjustable diopters. This means that you can dial in your eye's corrective prescription and not have to worry about wearing glasses inside the headset. On paper, this all sounds great, but in practice, I have a real issue with the diopters approach. Think about it this way. You go to an optician's to get your eyes tested and to have a pair of glasses made specifically for your prescription. You would never dream of wearing a pair of universal self-adjustable glasses. The reason being is that you would never be able to dial them in absolutely perfectly. If you ask any optician, they would probably urge you to be very careful using adjustable diopters like these found in the XR Elite. Because if you dial them in incorrectly, or you happen to accidentally knock them, you could be putting unnecessary strain on your eyes. I should also mention that diopters like these can't correct any astigmatism you might have, so personally, I would always recommend using prescription lens inserts with VR headsets that perfectly match your eye prescription instead. So moving on to audio. Like I mentioned earlier, you only have the option to use the speakers built into the headset's arms on the XR Elite. They do a pretty good job, but it's just crazy to me that they don't have a 3.5mm audio jack built into the headset or a decent Bluetooth connection to be able to use your own headphones. At the bottom of the headset are dual microphones for use in social VR applications, and this is what they sound like compared to the competition. This is what the Quest 2's microphone sounds like. This is what the Quest Pro's microphone sounds like. This is what the big screen Beyond's microphone sounds like. This is what the HTC Vive XR Elite's microphone sounds like. Next up are the controllers. These are exactly the same controllers that shipped with the Vive Focus 3. We see a familiar inverted tracking ring design, similar to that of the Quest 2, with the same ABXY button layout, grip and trigger buttons, along with thumbsticks. The only key difference here is that these controllers are charged using USB-C instead of single AA batteries. The internal rechargeable battery should provide around 15 hours of battery life, according to HTC. The grips are a little bit longer than the Quest 2 controllers and feature a nice texture to them which make them fit nicely in my baby-sized hands. The only thing I didn't like about these controllers is that the trigger and the grip buttons click when they're fully pressed down, but overall, they feel pretty good. When it comes to using the Vive XR Elite as a standalone headset, users are going to be disappointed. The home environment is very basic, and despite being on the latest software, I kept having to move from node to node within the environment just to recenter my position in the virtual space in front of the content menu. Unfortunately, the standalone game library is painfully small, with Hyperdash, Puzzling Places, Maestro, Winlands 2, and Unplugged being the absolute best of the bunch. I was able to put the hand tracking to the test in Maestro, which did an okay job, but certainly it's not as smooth as Meta's recent hand tracking updates. I'm well aware that HTC are actively working on improving the game library, but they're just so far behind the competition with both Meta and even Pico. At the end of the day, people buy hardware based on the content they can play on it. You could have the best headset in the world, but without the content, it's essentially a useless paperweight. Content is and always will be king when it comes to selling gaming hardware. Moving on to the PCVR experience, it's at least a little bit better. Once you have the Vive streaming app installed on your PC, your Steam VR game library will be displayed in your home menu, which you can launch directly from here, which is a nice touch. Now, there's two ways you can connect the Vive XR Elite to your PC. You can do it wirelessly using a fast home network, or by using a link cable. The cables included in the box aren't long enough to be used as a link cable, so I had to use an Oculus link cable for my testing instead. The issue with both of these methods is battery life. When playing both wirelessly or tethered using a cable, you'll only get a maximum of 2 hours worth of playtime until the rear battery pack is depleted. Even when tethered with a link cable connected directly to the battery, the PC can't provide enough power to top the battery up whilst playing, which is a huge disappointment. The final option, of course, is using Virtual Desktop, which is a paid application, as it offers a much smoother wireless streaming option than HTC's own streaming app. The only issue with using Virtual Desktop is that HTC doesn't have a username system in place, so be prepared to enter a long string of numbers and letters as a username in the Virtual Desktop PC streaming app. During my playtime using the XR Elite, I encountered a few issues with the controller tracking. Whilst playing Ghosts of Tabor and aiming down the sights, the controllers would drift from side to side, which is less than ideal in a competitive first-person shooter. And secondly, whilst playing Beat Saber on Expert on 2 occasions, my sabers just randomly flew away. This is a real shame, as I didn't have these tracking issues when using the same controllers with the Vive Focus 3. And I do wonder if this is something to do with the camera placement on the XR Elite headset itself. And finally, while still on the subject of PCVR, if you wanted to use the XR Elite with the glasses style arms connected for, say, sim racing or sim flying for example, think again, because when connected to a PC in glasses mode using a link cable, the headset requires 30 watts of power, which 90% of PCs can't provide. This means without that power, the headset automatically turns the display brightness down to around 30% of its normal brightness, making it completely unusable as a PCVR headset in this glasses configuration. Again, another huge missed opportunity here. And this brings me onto the pass-through mode. It's actually pretty good and much better than the pass-through on the Quest Pro. You can easily switch into the pass-through mode with just the double click of the Vive button on the controllers. It's still not good enough for, say, reading a text message from your phone, but for checking the time or grabbing a quick drink, it's more than good enough. I can't really comment on any mixed reality content, as there's really nothing here that's worth playing, which is a shame, as this is a headset that's marketed as a mixed reality device after all. Just like the Quest Pro, it just doesn't have the content to justify the high price tag. So, having used the Vive XR Elite for the past couple of weeks, here's my conclusion. I love that we're getting smaller and smaller form factor VR headsets. The XR Elite and the Big Screen Beyond are great examples of how compact headsets can be when using pancake lenses. And I'm sure this is going to be a trend going forward with the Quest 3 and the rumoured upcoming headset from Apple. But unfortunately, the poor comfort, the lack of audio options, the small native game library, and the 2-hour playtime make the Vive XR Elite impossible for me to recommend. It's unfortunate to see HTC continuing to make the same mistakes from their previous products. The VR community are absolutely rooting for them to be a viable competitor to Meta, but it's just not happening, and it makes me worry about their future in the VR space. While some might see this product as competition for the Quest Pro, which, to be honest, I also wouldn't recommend, and you can check out my review of that on the channel, the hard truth is that this headset can't even compete with the much cheaper Quest 2. So, my suggestion would be, if you're looking for a brand new VR headset, I would say wait for the Quest 3, which is planned to be released later this year, or look into the PS5 and the PSVR 2 as they have some incredible exclusive VR titles, Or finally, if you're looking for a brand new PCVR headset, check out the Big Screen Beyond. It's by far the most impressive VR headset I've tried in recent years, and I'll have a full review of that coming to the channel very soon. So that is my review of the Vive XR Elite. Of course, I'm going to be returning this unit to HTC, not only due to the fact that it's got a defective LCD panel, but also it's just simply not good enough to justify the high price tag. If you've made it this far into the video, I want to say thank you so much for sticking around, and if you have any questions about the Vive XR Elite, anything I might have missed in this video, please put your questions in the comments below, and I'll do my very best to answer as many questions as I can. Leave a cheeky little like if you found this video remotely interesting. Make sure you're subscribed for all my future VR content, because we have a ton of awesome stuff coming in the next few months, and as always, I'll see you all on the next one. Cheers.